Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about two significant federal district court rebuffs of the efforts by the administration to basically fire everybody. We had district court judges in San Francisco and Maryland issue very strong decisions, and the one in San Francisco in particular with some very strong rhetoric against the administration and even against its comportment in the actual litigation. So basically, the bottom line is two commands. You have to reinstate thousands and thousands of employees. They are slightly different theories. The one in San Francisco, the Judge William Alsup, said, "You do not have this authority, Mr. Head of OPM, to fire all these people across the government. The individual agencies have that authority." And he, in the process, excoriates the head of OPM, the acting director, Charles Azell, for not showing up at the hearing. And Judge Alsup says in very sort of heated rhetoric, accused the administration of trying to hide the ball as well as sidestep laws and just not comply with the regulations about reductions in workforce. There are so-called RIFs that you can diminish the ranks of federal employees, but they have rules and they just did it willy-nilly. And he said it is sad, a sad day when our government would fire some good employee and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that's a lie. That should not have been done in our country. Because that goes directly at the government's position that the mass firings were lawful because individual agencies had actually reviewed probationary employees and found fault with their individual performances. That seems really like fanciful. There's really no record for that at all. And for that reason, Alsup wanted Azell to come to the stand and actually detail that. He just did not appear to testify, did not give a deposition. He had given written testimony, which the government retracted. So this got really heated and incendiary, and the government just didn't want to put on the record, subject to perjury, their basic allegations that OPM was collecting and harvesting the views of different agencies as to which employees are having poor performance issues and which aren't. Now, we're talking about probationary employees that are easier to fire, but you still need some justification, and it looks as if the government acted in a wholesale way when they had to act in a retail way, and then they just about, to hear Alsup say it, lied about it, at the very least sort of danced around and avoided going on the record. Okay, so Alsup's order, very forceful. It goes to 6 or 7 different departments, and it says you have to immediately offer job reinstatements to the employees who were terminated. This is the batch who were before the court terminated on or about February 13th, and he's ordered a report from the departments within 7 days. I want a list of all the employees here and how the agencies comply as to each person. If you want to make the claim under law that they were doing lousy work, show me. So this is really, he is basically setting up a kind of ongoing push and pull with the administration where he's wanting to kind of oversee and supervise their employee determinations of the provisional employees That, I'm just here to tell you, is a hard thing to do, and it's going potentially to involve him in a lot of different back and forth with the administration that could have different versions of the dog ate my homework, and oh, it was here just a minute ago, and oh, that employee, we forgot about that. In other words, these tend not to be clean, and there tends to be real sort of obfuscation, at least I think there will be with this administration, about compliance. In the meantime, the administration beat its breast on this one and said this is unconstitutional, outrageous, and they've already appealed it to the Ninth Circuit that sits above ALSEP, and they're going to say you can't micromanage federal employment decisions in this way, and they're going to seek to dissolve the injunction. So we'll see whether ALSEP, not someone the government wants looking over its shoulder, it's clear, is going to be able to really push them to comply with his order. Okay, so that's the situation in San Francisco. 6 agencies, order to reinstate, and very, very strong rhetoric that kind of adds to the overall culture out there that the administration is flouting the law. Okay, at the same time yesterday, there's another holding by a district judge in Maryland, Judge Bradar, who said that the large-scale layoffs that you did, you just completely failed to comply with the rules. So it's a different ALSEP, you don't have authority. Bradar, you are not doing it the way you have to do it. You can't simply do it in a fell swoop. There's a whole regime of review, both internal and potentially federal court review, having to do with notice and an opportunity for the employee to be heard. And they basically instead just sent out these curt, pretty high-handed letters. As of today, you're terminated. Thank you for your service. So that's what the judge in Maryland focused on. And he said, halt these firings right away. And again, return the workforce to the status quo before the layoffs. Undo it. And they give them their full panoply of regulatory rights. So in some ways, this is an even, in terms of remedy, greater rebuff to the administration, or greater threat. It says you can't do it to a single person without going through the whole Merit Systems Protection Board, notice and opportunity to be heard. So no authority here, as opposed to with ALSEP, the basic argument being you did it wrong. It wasn't for OPM to do, it was for the agencies. Here in Maryland, in some ways even a broader, if less inflammatory or incendiary decision, saying you got to give them their rights. You didn't do that. So a big day and 2 big victories on with different plaintiffs. One are unions and representing the federal workforce. The other are state attorneys general. That's the state attorneys general are the San Francisco cases, and one of the other things that the administration will say is the state doesn't have the authority to tell us what to do as far as terminations go, but the state has been able to show that the layoffs affected them, or at least that will be the argument that ALSEP accepted, and that will go up on appeal. Okay, the Maryland case also has a standing issue because the plaintiffs there are a bunch of Democratic attorneys general, and they're saying all these layoffs, and it's been at least 24,000 employees that have already been laid off, are giving them immediate injury and problems as they try to deal with jobless claims. So the state have the general administrative and to a large part financial responsibility for unemployment claims, And so the attorneys general are saying that's their basis for suing. And the administration argued to the Maryland court to no avail, but will now argue it again, going to the Court of Appeals, that the states didn't have standing. Back in San Francisco, it's a straightforward suit by unions and representing the federal employees directly. And there again, so Alsop, the finding there is that the acting head of OPM didn't have the authority to lower the boom as he did. It had to be with individual agencies. So the government will appeal, but presumably it also could try to just follow those instructions and have the agencies issue the determinations, but also it's going to want to know that they're individualized and not just willy-nilly firing everybody and saying this really offended him, saying that they were for performance. Back in Maryland, they're just the order is just to stop the music, rewind to the point at where they started the firings, and give them all their rights. I think the administration also can be expected to appeal there. So both these cases are gonna, I think, make their way to the Court of Appeals, but at least this initial round is very strong for the federal workforce in general, and just the command that the administration comply with the law, the whole vast array of protections that the Merit Systems Protection Board and then federal courts provide. So good day there, but we'll see what happens on appeal. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.